Power is taken, not given. When you think of that book and those all the 48 laws of power and 52 laws and I've heard folks say, like, man, anybody who reads that book, they want to manipulate. They want to. Let me just stop right there. Every child at a young age is taught manipulation. Every single one. And because of that, we then learn how to manipulate. Some people are better at it than others. But either way, if you're not playing offense, you need to know how to play defense. And that's why I put the critics to bed when I hear that, oh, well, anybody who reads those type of books, like, they shouldn't be trusted. All right, well, what about, have you ever trusted anybody? How's that worked out? You know what I'm saying? Let's start there. How's that worked out? But that power is taken and not given. I learned that from a friend of mine. He, I'm not gonna get too deep in his bio, but he's raw. He's a raw dude. And when I say raw, I use that as a term of endearment. Like, he's solid. He's solid. That's another word. He's solid. Spent time with him, and I'm trying not to give too many hints, you know, because then it's like, oh, I know exactly who he's talking about. Because, you know, it's a small channel. People that watch this right now are the people that know me. But either way, I had spent some time with him in Denver, Colorado. We did an internship out there. And then, man, I met some good friends out there, for real. And then he had moved and did some stuff in Detroit and did some stuff in Ohio. And he had taught me that, though. He had got a role that he really wanted to get, and there was an opportunity came up, but for his personal life though. And we were building on it, because iron sharpened iron, so we were talking about it. And he's like, man, I don't know if I should take this opportunity that's gonna benefit my personal life, because professionally I've worked so hard to get to this point. I don't want to just, give the power to somebody else, and next thing you know, now I come back and I don't have my professional role anymore. And he said, Tim, that power is meant to be taken, not given. So I made up my mind, they gotta take it from me. If they want this power, they gotta take it from me. It's heavy. It's heavy for my brain. I love gems like that, because then I'm able to reflect on them later. Because if somebody give you a whole spiel, it's hard to remember. You might remember how that spiel made you feel, but you're not gonna remember what they said. But when it comes to those small gems, I can remember that. I could take that in. I could use it later. And just think about in history, when is even the United States, the place that we live right now, we took this place. We took this place on the backs of others. And I say we because I identify as an American. So I'm gonna put myself in that bucket. Maybe I didn't specifically, or you who watching this, you didn't specifically. But this place was taken. And that's why now I'm in a different space too. So I know a lot, certain spaces don't acknowledge the tribal land we live on, but a lot of when I go to a conference or a seminar, or you know what I mean, like something in that professional development scene, a lot of them, the first thing they do is they acknowledge the land we're on as not our own. Power is meant to be taken, not handed to you. I reflect on power and ego. Ego is a crazy feeling, and we all felt it, man and woman. We've all felt that ego. I've dealt with a lot of people in the professional space too that came with that ego, that swear up and down. Oh, I don't bring ego into the work. I don't bring ego, but you the main one bringing ego into it. Not stating that you don't, but through your everyday actions. You know, I don't work at former places where, I mean, I remember when I had my first son, I was working a few jobs. One was sweeping a grocery store. I worked at a grocery store, and my role was just to sweep the floors and restock, and you know, it was like I had 2 jobs. It was my 3rd job. I had 3 jobs. I ended up letting that one go too when he was born. I'm like, man, I can't do this. I can't do it. It's not that I couldn't do this, it's just at that time, not only did we need money, but I needed to spend time also. And so, because trust, I would have kept sweeping the floors if need be, because yes, I have an ego, and my ego is not going to keep me from doing what I need to do to provide. Fast forward, when I think about power now, I think about it in a different dynamic where somebody not necessarily telling me to sweep a floor or, you know, do this, but it's still subtle. It's more subtle in the environments I'm in now. Power is not, I mean, with the exception of somebody robbing you of your physical item that you have on your body at that very second, power, you're not gonna see power exchange like that, like in the way it is on the movies. It's more like a chess game, like it's teed up. Where the attack doesn't feel as centralized as, give me that. It feels more like, damn, how did that even happen? Then you start playing it back in your head, like, oh, well, they teed up the conversation on this date, and then they nudged me on this date, and then on this date, and you start playing it back in your head like, oh, this is chess. It was chess. That power is meant to be taken, not given. I'm not condoning strong arm violence. That's not what I'm saying. We gotta think past how our brains are wired to think. I know that sounds crazy too. But growing up, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Growing up, I always thought the person that dressed the nicest and had the flyest car, you know, the most expensive car, was the richest. I had to retrain my mind. It's not facts. It's not a fact. People that dress the nicest and have the best car, that does not mean that they're the wealthiest. That just means that they dress really nice and got a good car. They got a nice car. Whether they overspent on it or not, they got a nice car. It's crazy how the older I get, the more that I shed my old skin. And I highly recommend that for you as well. Is we gotta retrain, just just like a bodybuilder would training his muscle, or Kobe Bryant after he tore his Achilles, he got to retrain that Achilles. Same thing. We got to keep training our mind. That's why I think that these videos they might not be pertinent at this very second, but as we continue to grow and evolve, and the people around me and people that I'll call friends, or whatever it might be, associates, or as we continue to retrain our mind, we kind of evolve in society into becoming a better, not only better version of us, but the better version of society that we live in. And that was one piece of game that stuck with me, is power is meant to be taken, not given. In a minute.